Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about where you're from, what your name is?
My name is Rosalie Wright Lapin. I am a junior here at Middlebury and a sociology anthropology major. And I actually grew up in Cornwall, so just about 5 minutes down the road.
And where have you been working as your placement?
So I've actually chosen to work at 2 sites. I was originally going to do the community suppers, and then after taking a visit to the Parent-Child Center as a class, I fell in love with that. So I decided to volunteer there a little bit too. But unfortunately I was sick the first week, so I've only been to each site one time.
And do you have a preference out of the two, or do you feel that each one gives you like a different sort of perspective?
Yeah, it's really wonderful actually to have them kind of paired together, because with the Parent-Child Center there's a lot of young people and young mothers, and you get this kind of sense of a family inside the center. I feel like I'm going into a home, and I feel like it's a family just full of mothers and children. And then the community supper is really different. It's a lot of older people. There were some young families, but mostly older people without kids. And people kind of did group themselves at tables, so there were like smaller families, but just a very different feel.
And do you feel like you've made any sort of specific connections to different people, either like children at the child centre or people at the community suppers that you've sort of bonded with?
I don't know if I've had enough time at each of the sites really to have some serious connection. I would really like to engage more one-on-one with people in both sites, just so that I can form those relationships. But aside from like the occasional chatting at the community supper, I didn't get to know anyone very well on a personal level. I did talk to Dottie Newberger, who's kind of the coordinator of the community suppers, and she is just really wonderful, really positive, makes it really fun to work there, and great at directing people, telling them where to go, and then also kind of setting an awesome example of how you can be doing this work and form good relationships. She clearly knew the people that attended the suppers and had good relationships with them, so it's nice to look up to that kind of role model.
And what sort of role do you do at the community suppers? Are you more focused on serving food or cooking or?
I was serving food and washing dishes, and I really liked that aspect because I was able to kind of be this bridge between the kitchen and the people who attended the suppers, and just having that little bit of contact, asking people what they wanted to drink or if they wanted seconds, is nice to engage with the community, because ultimately I think that those kinds of relationships and just forming a community is all about conversation. It's all about engaging face to face, so it's nice to be in that role.
And do you think sort of being involved in these community projects is essential in overcoming like poverty?
I don't think it's that simple. I don't think that just being involved is going to overcome poverty, but it does. I know that poverty here is very prevalent, and having gone to the local high school and really experience going to school with people from a huge range of socioeconomic statuses, I know that it's an issue. So it's good to feel like I'm doing something worthwhile, but I'm not sure it's enough to eradicate poverty as a huge, presence.
And what do you personally feel like the root of poverty is here in Addison County?
Here in Addison County,
Or the United States?
the United States, I don't think there is one answer. I think there's a lot of systematic oppression, which is an issue. Racism, classism, sexism. We're not very racially diverse here in Addison County, and I don't see sexism being the biggest issue here, but classism certainly is an issue. We're a very white community, but the range in income and education levels is huge, and I'm not going to blame that on. A lot of times I don't think it's the person who's the issue. I think it's the system. So on a more local level, I think systematic oppression is a huge issue. And on a more global level, I think that capitalism is an issue. It's very based on a hierarchy and exploiting some people for others to gain. And even when you look at the wealth gap in America, I mean, it's just unbelievable how big it is. So I think you can't peg it down to one thing, but there are some systemic roots that are driving issues.